It's good to be on the open seas again. Yes, but if he's God-woken like us, maybe for now, just maybe, it's good fortune that he's still breathing. The Lone Wolves were tasked with killing God-woken. So if we want to find out who's hunting us, we'll need to track down my old pack to get some answers.
Ifan's lips curve in a sly smile. It would appear frightening, save for the bright twinkle of his eyes.
No, fear not, cub. But it tickles me no end that you're sharp enough to consider that a possibility. So, hand on my heart, we're in it together. What do you say? It does, doesn't it? Set sail for Driftwood, I reckon. From there, we can track down my old pack and find out who's behind the contracts to kill Godwoken.
He grunts approvingly. Side by side, you stare together at the wave-dashed horizon.
Missing hat, natty beard, vessel adrift. It's a sea captain's worst nightmare it is. Look, I don't know how to ask you this, but you all right up there?
He punctuates his point by rapping his own head a few times.
We get this tub moving. I mean, what else would we do, mate?
He notes your gaping mouth and slaps you on the back with a guffaw.
You hoping to catch some flies in that maw of yours? I'm joshing you. If you're going to have an adventure, you need to get used to some ribbon, friend. Because let me tell you, if you're not laughing, you're dying.
A moment's pause. I had thought us too wicked for rest. Ha! People will enslave anything these days. At least back in my day, they had the elegance to opt for an elf. Home. There's no such thing. I hail from the land that was, the kingdom of fog, the grave of divinity. If ever I had a home, it has long since gone up in the smoke of death fog, along with so many elves. So, no home, except everywhere, really. The world is mine. It's mine because I say it is.
She looks at you expectantly.
Yes, you may bow before the Queen of the World. We, the Queen of the World, smile upon thee with favor. We dub thee Knight of the Needle. Arise, good sir, and wear your title proudly.
She takes you by the hands and laughs heartily as you stand up.
How kind of you to play along. We won't forget. You don't say. I too had the pleasure. Of course, when I say pleasure, I mean the distinct dishonor. Like death and desperation. I'd rather not talk about it.
She hesitates, but you can tell she wants to speak.
The thing is, Tyrsendilius, the old father, the Golden Leaf, he wants me to become the next divine.
Her eyes fix on some unseen thing of darkness.
Beware of gods bearing gifts. Divinity. And yet, he treated me exactly. His was an exercise in power, brutal, like all true power is. His was a lesson, meant to discipline, not to edify. Why would I obey such a god? Like I said, beware of gods bearing gifts. But I do appreciate the sentiment. What use Fort Joy had has been spent. New hunting grounds wait across the sea, so by all means, let us sail.
How can one be seasick when one has no stomach? This is heinously unfair. Set sail, for the love of all things, set sail. The sooner I am off this carved monstrosity, the better.
Pretty nice ship, eh? Captain Losa. Has a ring to it, doesn't it? Depends which one. Most of them seem a little too earnest for my taste. But Malady, she's my kind of girl. In any case, it looks like they're probably going to help me find out whatever's leeching off my magnificent brain. So I'm not too pressed about being in the same boat. Ha, the same boat. I had a little chit-chat with Malady earlier. She told me I need to find someone to, exercise the thing in my noggin. Apparently, I'll be able to find him near Driftwood, where we're heading. Exciting!
Don't go any further, Godwoken. We need you alive. I know what's at stake, but I have to warn you. This ship is alive and dangerous.
She glances over towards a smouldering pile of ash on the deck nearby. Something is nestled within it. Fragments of scorched bone.
That was Brendan. When the ship wouldn't answer my call, he touched the figurehead, and it attacked him, without warning. He burned, like he was made of parchment.
Her eyes flick over to the smouldering ashes once again, her head held at a despondent angle.
Thank you. We were held captive together, on this ship. He kept my spirits up. Now he's dead. Nothing. The ship is live wood, that much is clear. But I couldn't communicate with it. The Magisters must have done something, warped it somehow. I just don't know what.
She sighs.
I know. Just be careful.
Before you is a towering figurehead carved in the likeness of a dragon. It looms over the bow, its fangs bared at the open sea. There's an odd mark on the side of the figurehead. Battle damage, weather staining. It almost looks like a pattern, however. The deck beneath you groans and trembles, like the ship itself is awaking from a slumber. A deep sigh emerges, unmistakably the sound of a living being.
You are not the witch. You are not Dallas. You sang the song. Now you must decide my fate. Are you to be my new master? You are kind, but I can never be free again. Not truly. I am a vessel and must be guided. Let me take you wherever you wish. We can depart as soon as you are ready. Ask. I am here to serve in all ways.
The creaking of the ship eases into a contemplative silence.
Once, I was an elf. I passed away and was reborn as an ancestor tree. In a beautiful forest surrounded by kin of both flesh and root. But that time has passed. I saw that forest reduced to a dead place. Then I was taken away. My memories were lost, like the leaves from my branches.
The sails overhead billow outwards suddenly. The sun is blocked, momentarily casting the dragon figurehead into shadow.
Magisters, they razed sacred elven lands and uprooted ancestor trees from the earth. I was one of them. They tore me apart and turned me into this monstrosity. Of course, wherever there is sea, I will endeavor to bring you. Consult with your companions and set a course.
The ship's awake. Good. Is she ready to sail?
A slow, toothless smile stretches across her face.
To Driftwood, then.
We have to make good on our escape.
It most certainly is. Forward.
With the sun on their backs and the wind in their sails, the Godwoken watched Fort Joy shrink behind them. But their capture of the Lady Vengeance had not gone unnoticed.
I respect your mettle, sorcerers. You steal my ship, kill my bishop, and ally with demons. But you have no idea what you're really dealing with.
We are ready, mistress.
Yes, but are they?
I swear, mistress. I swear they'll perform admirably.
Very well. Show me. Goodbye, sorcerers. This is my ship. I won't see it taken from under my feet. You, act!
Yes, mistress.
Oh, for the love of the void. Listen up. We can't win this one, but I can get us to safety. You'll need to buy me time. Show us what you can do, Godwoken.
Godwoken? Parasites, rather.
I'll take care of it, mistress.
With the help of the half-demon Malady, the Godwoken escaped through the veil that separates life from death.
The air here has a familiar smell, like the place you grew up. Old memories begin to well within you, but the sweet sour smell of decay suddenly punctures them. A faint creaking sounds in the distance. Ralik hangs limp from the tree, cursed branches constricting him, snake-like from foot to shoulders. His helmeted head hangs slack at his side, but a barely audible wheeze rasps from his lips.
Hurry!
As the cursed branches slither away from Ralik, he raises his head. Green eyes glint with sudden fire from behind his helmet.
Are we the first? The others, do they hang still upon the tree?
He strains at the ethereal ropes that bind him, resisting their grip.
You must make haste! I am bound, but not defeated. Not yet. This is not the work of fate. It is the work of the void. It will come for our people. It will destroy us all. You are my chosen. Now you must become the champion of our kind. The champion of humanity. I have survived our enemies. You must do more than that. You cannot comprehend what it is, but you know full well what it wants. The void will not stop until it has devoured us all. It thinks it has defeated me, defeated all the gods. But it underestimates human might. Your might.
His eyes flash bright green. He struggles against his binds, to no avail.
You will show it. You will show them all. You have already unleashed some of the powers locked within you. But there is a great well of possibilities still untapped. You cannot stop until you ascend to the highest heights of your power. You cannot stop until you become divine.
Like Lucian, you will be called to unite the powers of the Seven against the Void. Like Lucian, you will lead our proud people to preeminence. But unlike Lucian, your weakness will not lead you to foolish failure.
He opens his mouth to respond, but stops and tilts his head, listening for something you cannot detect.
I hear the void. I hear it calling. I hear it laughing. It's coming! It's here! If it finds you here, if it finds you!
Ralik's face twists in fear. He opens his mouth as if to scream, but no sound comes out. White-hot cold pierces your heart like a blade. You are frozen to the spot. The burning cold pumps through you like a curse, and then the same troubled look is visible on each face. You've seen the gods beaten and defiled, strung up as a warning.
The gods are dead. Long live the Godwoken. If the Seven should indeed come to nothing, I'll be ready to take their place.
The void has been pushed back before by the power of mortals. The gods couldn't handle it. But maybe we can.
I've got my weapon. I've got my wits. And now, I've got a new enemy. If the void wants me, well, I say let it come. I'm ready.
I had dreams of what I should say if I saw the Seven Lords once more. But that was a nightmare.
Gods, schmods. They aren't interested in me, and I'm not interested in them. It seems whatever's inside me is more powerful than any of them anyway. Or at least more cunning.
What can yet be blessed, can yet be restored. One way or another, Divinity will survive. Through all of you, and all of me.
Where have you been? I can't keep this up much longer. We need to go. There's no time. I can't hold us here. Brace yourself. This might hurt. A lot.
The chill of the Hall of Echoes clung to the Lady Vengeance as it returned to the shores of Reaper's Coast. The Godwoken were alive, but what of the gods?
Solid ground materializes beneath your feet. Your weight falls back into your body all at once, and bright sunlight stings your eyes. As your eyes adjust, you realize you're still aboard the Lady Vengeance. A gust of fresh sea air caresses you, and warm sunshine prickles your skin.
One moment, please. Oh, just a moment.
Malady explodes in a fit of retching that racks her body. At last, she sneezes and expels a glob of something shiny and silver onto the deck. It wriggles quickly off the siding and plummets into the sea with a splash.
Ah, better. Let's not do that again anytime soon, hmm? Well, we needed to escape, didn't we? So I took us the one place I was quite certain Dallas couldn't follow. I suppose you recognized the Hall of Echoes from those visions you'd had before. Realm of the dead, realm of divinity. I do hope you learned something useful on our little field trip. Desperate how? I see. So, your god seemed uncharacteristically frightened, told you the void was coming, and that only you could ascend to divinity, after which you felt a cold deep within you. Well then, it sounds like you need to ascend, doesn't it? And quickly.
She inspects her fingernails with great attention, then looks up at you from under an arched eyebrow.
Did they mention how you were meant to become the next divine? Oh, what confidence you inspire. Luckily for you, Mama Malady is here to help. We already know you can bless, but as far as I know, you can neither see source nor take it as you see fit. I may not know much about divinity, but I do know that any godwoken worth their salt will know how to perform all these oh-so-fantastic feats. You need to go see the Meister. She's got one of those things in Driftwood, you know, the building where people go and they do things inside of it. A home, that's it. She's got a home in Driftwood. Give me your map. There you are. Tell her I sent you and she'll handle the rest. You're at the beginning of a long journey, Godwoken. Long, but exceedingly interesting. Now, I must be going, and so must you. Why, our faithful little sloop, of course. We can all ride together. Won't that be terribly fun? Shopping. Before you go, if I'm not back by the time you find out where our journey takes us next, you can call me back here. Tell the ship. She'll know how to summon me. And in the unlikely case you don't manage to do whatever it is you'll need to do to become what you need to become, you could call me, but I would be grateful if it doesn't come to that.
Damn it, is nowhere safe! Red-robed lunatics at sea, those void-woken seedlings in the swamp. It all points to the Great Acorn. It's coming, Quercus! What if it's too late, hmm? What if the Knights of Dre are too far ahead in their plans?
At least here, our shield's ignorance can be forgiven, Quercus. The Knights of Dre do not go out of their way to boast about their existence. You know their order, my friend. Mystic Squirrel Knights, sworn to the Great Acorn, trying to bring about its return.
The squirrel absent-mindedly runs a paw over Quercus's spine. The air fills with the sound of soft, dusty purring.
They plan to inherit the everlasting forest once the acorn drops, and the world is rid of all giants. They believe that only the arboreal will, and should, survive. I don't know. I am trying, of course.
But how does one battle a power like the Great Acorn? The Knights of Dre are a dangerous, dangerous order. Lunatics with a single-minded devotion to bringing about the end of the world. Together, Quercus, we can develop some magic to save us from the Great Acorn, if our shield can keep us alive. Yes, it has done an admirable job so far. It certainly lasted longer than I thought it would. But does it understand that we could be wiped out at any moment? Does it understand the risk? Trust. Do you remember trust, Quercus? I'm not sure I do. Well, yes, of course I trust you, Quercus. You're different. But perhaps we should show a little faith in our shield, too.
The squirrel reaches out and touches your ankle, sending a hot flush rippling through your body. Your mind's eye sees new potential spells swirling before it.
Now, listen carefully, shield. The plan is thus. Do not die. If the shield can hold up its end of the bargain, we might just have a chance to complete our research. We might make it yet, Quercus.
Alexander is gone, but I don't think we've seen the last of him. To kill him again? Yes. But more than the contract, I've got questions about what really happened during the war. And I'm not going to let him die until he answers them.
He raises one hand to shield the sun from his eyes and scans the horizon intently.
As far as tracking him down is concerned, right now we're headed for Driftwood. And last I heard, my old pack were camped out near there. If anyone will know who put the contract on Godwoken, it'll be Roost.
Oh, you catch me during a meditative moment. Gods, voids, a perilous journey through the Hall of Echoes. One wonders whether one is awake or dreaming. In that case, it's high time we return to the order of the day, which in my case is still the domain of dreams, of course. Bramos the Wanderer told me to meet him in Driftwood. So, to Driftwood we must go. I can only hope it will be a town of opulence and plenitude, despite its rather discouraging name.
Hey, before we dash off into the wild world yonder, I should mention, Malady and I had a talk on the way here. Oh, you know, this and that. And she mentioned that the thing in my head is probably a demon. Told me there's a fella not so far from where we're headed who might be able to help me with it too. I know, it's great, exciting, terrifying. A heady mixture of all three that makes my stomach feel like it's in a vice. I have to say, having you here makes it all seem possible. We'll be all right, Chief?
She smiles, her dark eyes glittering.
Well, we better get a move on. I've got a demonologist to find.
It's rather impressive that a place named Reaper's Coast is even less cheerful than it sounds. Then again, I suppose desolate, boring, and covered in fish heads coast doesn't quite roll off the tongue. Still, here we are. I trust I needn't remind you about our agreement. Good. It is of the utmost importance that I reach the Black Pits and access the dig site there. Once that is understood, I am quite content. Lead on, oh adequate one.
Hail, friend, and remember, in Lucian's love there can be no wrong.
I expect Malady has an answer to that. It seems she's got it all in hand.
Paradise awaits, my friend. Not an actual paradise, of course. I don't think there's such a place in all of Rivellon. Paradise Downs. My parents still sow the soil there. And if the Order hadn't called me to its ranks, I'd still call their farm my home. I miss it. I miss them. They've been forever understanding of my duty. But I admit, I've been neglectful. I have some wrongs to right. Only as often as I need his guidance, Godwoken. When I invoke Lucian's words, I invoke his deeds too. He stood for the defenseless when the Black Ring rose up. For all of us. For my mother, my father.
Gareth's nostalgia lasts for just a moment longer. He composes himself, clears his throat, and waits for your next question.
Hello again. That's twice now you've saved my skin. And I think it's time to start repaying the favours. I could fetch some stuff you need, maybe. Ma always said I was a great runner.
I hadn't realized I was in such illustrious company when we met before. Most fascinating, the things I've been hearing about you. That you're, how did Malady put it again? A God-woken. Yes, that's it. Quite remarkable if it's true.
Tarquin pauses, taking you in. Genial smile and calculating eyes.
You make me sound so mercenary. No, I'm merely pleased to learn that my new friend has such great things awaiting him in the future. How bracing and honest of you. But everything in moderation, eh? I don't think I could take a scolding from the world's potential savior too frequently. Why, it was your ally, Malady, who spared me. She claimed that I might be of some use yet. Rather flattering to enjoy the favor of such a powerful being.
Here we are, Reaper's Coast. We made it. The hunt, like always. To be God-woken is all well and good, but above all, I've yet to find the Master. Somewhere further inland, Roost Anlon breathes. All I have to do now is pick up his scent and make his last breath worth my while.
The little boy lobs a stone across the river. It makes a long arc before plunging into the water below.
Oh, Ma! Are you all right? Ma! Huh? Oh, please, you have to help her. There was a fight. Some dwarves attacked some magisters and there were sorcerers too. And then the bugs came, those void things. They killed everyone. And my ma got 'em to chase her. And she went across the bridge. And then she raised the bridge and she told me to run. And now she's stuck over there with them. I'm not trying to stop them. Just distract them. When they finish whatever they're eating over there, I don't want them to start looking for Ma. She's in our house, but I bet that won't keep them out. You will? Maybe you can cross the river then. Ma lifted the bridge, but there's got to be another way, right? Yeah. You'll make one, and I'll...
His gaze shoots to the ground. He grabs a small, flat pebble and chucks it across the river. Again, it lands in the water below, well before reaching the other side of the cliffs.
I'll keep distracting him. No way. Ma didn't leave me. I'm not leaving her.
He performs a divine order salute.
Now go out, Ma.
White as driftwood salt, the dwarf flinches at your approach, yet she holds a short, clean blade aloft. Her fierce stance can't hide the trembling of her fingers.
Back! Get back! I'll kill you, just like the rest of them.
Shh, lass. I know you're all a fright. In times like these, I don't blame you. But I ain't out to hurt you. Now, why don't you take a few breaths and tell me what happened?
She slumps, all bravado draining from her.
No. I've never seen anything like those beasts before. Are they gone?
Voidwoken, you mean? Poor thing. No wonder you were scared. I'd be scared too.
Those? Yes. Worst ones I've ever seen. Ripped through the magisters. The dwarves. Dead. And the sorcerers. Gone.
Her eyes stare vacantly into the distance, glassy as marbles. It's not cold, yet her shivering is relentless.
I don't know. Oh, Duna's beard. Lohar, my boss, Lohar, will want to know what happened to them, but I can't remember.
Lohar, eh? Where will I find this boss of yours?
Oh, well, you'll find him in Effie's Emporium, neath the Black Bull. He's a fine man. A little gruff, yeah, but he's the only one in Driftwood wanting to help and not hurt.
She looks up at Beast through tear-stained eyes. but you can see her resolve hardening as she remembers who she is and what she stands for.
Oh, Seven Sympathy. I saw those things dragging the sorcerers along the cliffs towards the Wreckers' Caves. Oh, no. No more. It's gone.
She flinches at the slightest rustle of wind through the long grass. Terror in her eyes, she stumbles away from you. You stride past the chained sorcerers and climb onto the caravan without complaint. As you settle onto the bench, you offer Ralik's blessings to the Magister Guard. He offers only a bleary-eyed stare of disinterest in return before shoving the chained sorcerers aboard. As you watch them cower, you cannot help but feel annoyance. After all, don't they know they're going to be saved? From the dark, you stare up at the thin slivers of light visible between the floorboards. Shadows ripple across the slivers, accompanied by heavy footsteps, Magister footsteps. Wood creaks above your head. One of them has paused. Your breath catches in your throat as you wait for him to move along. But the hatch is suddenly yanked open. Light floods you, blinding and accusatory. You hear only one gruffly barked word before the hands seize you. Gotcha! A scruffy kid bounds up and stands before you, hands on hips. He stares at your face, doubt screwing up his features.
You Ben Mezd? Yep, that's just what he said you'd say, Ifan. Righto, got a message for you. Chap called Baron Laveri wants to see you. Black Bull Tavern, first floor.
The kid shoves his hands in his pockets and ambles off, whistling an off-key tune. A Magister Guard approaches. Behind her, on the gallows, two lizards. One, in a Magister uniform, hangs dead from her neck. The other hangs from her hands, still alive.
Step away from the prisoner! She's hanging by her hands because the boss don't want her dead just yet. She's a tough one, Meister Seaver. She's a seeker, and she's a bloody traitor. What have you heard? Have you heard that they killed our beloved Alexander? She was part of the Order. Knew Alexander personally. Alexander trusted her, at least as far as you can trust a lizard. To repay that trust, the Meister gave Alexander up to his enemies. She wasn't there when Alexander fell, but White Magister Raymond uncovered the truth. She's as guilty as any of them, and I reckon she got off lightly. I'd have had her flayed alive with a salted bullwhip. You're going to... what, now? She betrayed Alexander. I'd sooner die than free her. I'll regret this, I know I will. All right, I'll stand aside.
The lizard hangs from the gibbet, her face blooded and her scales discoloured. Her eyes are closed, but her tongue flickers as you approach.
Welcome to Driftwood, God-woken.
One bloody eye cracks open, glittering gold appearing from beneath the swollen lid.
Chased you all the way here from Fort Joy, did they? Very well then, cut me down. There is work to be done. Or indeed you could stand there gawping as if you were a cow ordered to dance a reel. It is a masterful performance. I would applaud it, but well.
The Meister bares her teeth, stained a deep pink by her blood, and growls.
Malady is unfortunately mistaken. I cannot train you, but I can certainly help you on your path, as long as I am free of this rope. Because along with torture and interrogation, the Magisters found space in their schedules to purge me, that's why. They spent quite some time at it too. Apparently I was a rich vein to be mined, and now I hang powerless as any butchered carcass. They stopped the process just as the last of my power drained away. Just enough to rob me of my strength, but not enough to leave me a hollow sack of flesh and scales. I had hoped they simply wished to preserve my charm and beauty, but no. It seemed Dallas had ordered that I be held until she could do the deed herself. To give it the personal touch, I imagine. Now that you have had that... that delightful little nugget of gossip, perhaps you could do your damn job and let me loose?
The lizard grimaces, shifting awkwardly as she dangles.
I am in intense pain. You are either insufferably cruel or insufferably stupid.
Be quick about it. Who knows when that Magister might return? God's teeth, it feels good to move again. Now, best scurry off before that Magister wanders back. Meet me at my home in Driftwood, and we can see what you're made of.
Off you go. I can't be seen raternizing with the likes of you. A sorcerer? Ha! Second rat wizards by my book. The reddish-coloured flesh beasts round here string your kind up by their hands. Well, I'm a rat, and you're some kind of, curious, large-style flesh beast. Never the twain shall mix. Thus spaketh the reddish, large-style flesh beasts. Just look at what happened to that lovely flick-tongued scale slitherer when she spent too much time with a lumbering, large-style flesh beast of her own. No thank you.
The rat hisses at you with sibilant malevolence.
Carry on then, stink beast. Don't let little old me distract you from your very important stink business.
Eggy, Eggy, gone, gone. Baby Eggy gone for good. Help! 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 Gone. Eggs. Eggy babies. All gone. Marge's egg. Margie. Eggy. Eggy baby. Margie. Marge.
Yes. Yes, you look just the type. Egg thief. I knew it. I found the culprit. Void woken? Our babies? Why, that's unspeakable. All of them. Why, that's Peeper. Let me get a good look. Yes, I couldn't mistake it. That's Marge's favourite egg. She'll be wanting him back right away.
Did you hear? The eggs are gone. Gone for good. No one to keep them warm. No one to keep them safe. Void woken? Monsters? Our babies? All our babies? Peeper? You found Peeper? That's Big Marge's egg. She'll be wanting him back. Yes, wanting him back. I saw.
They were stolen. The babies, the eggs, something took them. Ah, transformed. Not a chicky baby anymore. All gone for good.
She leaps up and grabs the egg with her foot, kicking it under her warm underbelly and settling down upon it contentedly.
Shh, little Peeper baby, Mama's here, warm and here with you again.
She cocks a black eye up at you and winks.
Thank you. I have something for you. Something I buried behind the coop. It's yours. It's yours. Unless some other scratchily poker found it first, of course.
A dying shark lies gasping on the sand, bleeding from the mouth and gills. It turns its dark and soulless eyes to you. Its bloody gills open in search of water, but find only air. It gasps in the air, struggling for the breath to speak. Its own blood froths at its mouth.
No, die here. Monsters in the water. Monsters in the deep. Monsters bigger. More and more growing.
It looks at you with its cold, flat eyes as if to say, do what you will. Then it turns away and gets back to drowning in the bloody sunshine. A boy at swim. Your name is Joe. You're 9. You're brave. You're off to see your mum. A shadow moves below you. A jagged vice closes on your thigh and pulls you down. Water fills your lungs. Blood billows.
Get yourself in check, boy. I won't have you running off like Millicent and Tully. You'll just end up sliding down some Voidwoken's gross gullet, piece by piece.
The older-looking Magister notices your presence. He wipes his grubby hands downward across his greaves, as if to wipe away the grime, but instead smears more dirt onto them.
Halt! What word do you bring?
His face goes pale, and his eyes open wide. The Magister that greeted you remains stiff, as if enduring a harsh wind.
The Voidwoken come. Hush, Fader. You may pass, traveller. Dare say you'll be aching to leave before long anyway. But before you do, find Raymond, the White Magister. He'll want to know what you've seen. Be quick, mind. He's set to sail any moment.
He nods his head in the direction of the bridge, but offers no other instructions. The Magister smiles, but he does not make eye contact with you. He shifts his weight from the left foot to the right.
Thank the Seven I've Aldous to guide me in these times. He allows me to borrow a bit of courage from him when I need. It's only a matter of time, you know? Outside Driftwood, not even the sharpest blades can protect us from those things. Inside, a killer roams. One with a Magister grudge, it seems. Our numbers dwindle. I'm hardly fit to protect. I only hope to survive. I know they disappear without a sign. Magister Carver's looking into it, but it's been so long since we've talked, a dwarf could have grown 3 beards by now. Farewell.
Last time I was here, I summoned my wolf right in the tavern. All hell broke loose. Good times. Good times. I wonder if they'll remember me.
Heavens to Bessie, another one. More queer folk than commoners in Driftwood these days. Just look at you! A sword-slinging stranger if ever I saw one. I'm surprised those robed fellers aren't attacking you on sight. Anyway, tavern's just down the road. Can't miss it. 'Cause that's where all the queer ones go. Clanking dwarves, dozy lizards. I even saw him drag a Voidwoken down there in the dead of night. Don't know what's going on in that tavern, but it must be a freak show in there.
Maybe I'm glad I ain't pulling carts of stinking fish round no more. But what's a beast to do if not pull? How can a beast enjoy this when he's no notion of what his future holds? I'll be spooked till I'm securely hitched up again.
Well met, friend. Interested in Driftwood's finest catch?
You look down at the cart and see fish with flaking scales, tumours and, in one case, 3 heads.
It's free to look. Just don't touch nothing unless you're going to make my purse jingle.
As the Magister's eyes alight upon you, they widen until they are practically bulging out of their sockets. One tremulous finger rises from voluminous robes and points right at you. From her other hand dangles handcuffs.
Ifan Ben Mesd is our living braze. I don't know how you got free, but it'll be back to the joy with you, and no mistake. Who could forget? Best night's business the healer had in months. Now, come on. Back into a cage where you belong. Your little tricks won't work on me, Ben Mesd.
She considers your offer.
How much?
The Magister grabs the coin and looks around shiftily, then turns back to you.
Get out of here. And don't let me catch you again.